if there's any way that our program can kind of get in between that,
Mm-hmm.
maybe even give her another year with her son, or not have to experience that. That's really what the program is targeting. We're not counselors. We're not going to solve, a lot of these problems all at once. But I think by providing the environment that we have, this good environment with our people and peers, I think it would be a good door to open, a good chance for these people that might be suffering to find a better way to express, get healthy, and kind of relieve those mental demons if they have them. So, breakfast. I had egg whites, pico de gallo, 4 corn tortillas, and a little bit of avocado spread.
Wow.
And pre-workout.
This guy's healthy. Amanda?
I had egg whites and broccoli and sweet potato.
Dude, she outdid you.
I get the broccoli.
I didn't think it was possible. I thought his
Just
breakfast was perfect.
Just a splash of color for the broccoli? Or what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dang.
I like vegetables.
I've been on my 3 eggs and 2 English muffins. That's what I've been having for breakfast
Good
for
deal.
maybe the past week or 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sean, what you got?
Just a light breakfast.
Ooh.
Coffee.
This guy's fasting.
Are you fasting?
Yeah, on accident.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just haven't grabbed some groceries.
The pizza box was empty, huh?
Yeah.
Dang it, yeah.
The accidental fast, my favorite kind.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
The accidental fast doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like,
You know, when people always say
Angry.
like, I forget to eat, those people blow my mind every time. You know,
that's
some people
my
say that.
husband.
Yeah.
That's my husband. He like
Really?
has to plan food, like schedule it, and I'm like, and my son is that way too. Not me.
Some lucky souls. Because
I-
I've never forgotten to eat.
No.
Not even once.
That's the only thing I'm good at.
Eating?
I like to swim, bike, and run and lift weights, but really eating is what I'm good at.
Oh, yeah.
That's my talent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you excel.
I'm good at that. Yeah.
Well, speaking of eating, why don't we talk about your guys' nonprofit? You know,
yeah. Yeah.
tell us about that, or how it started.
Yeah.
How did you guys meet each other? I guess let's start with that, maybe.
So,
Well, I started training with Powerhouse 3 years ago. I had been running some marathons, or I ran one marathon and had some hip flexor issues. And so I got a referral to Johnny, and I said, help me learn how to run so I don't hurt myself. And so I started running marathons, and then 2 years ago, I transitioned into triathlon.
So how long ago did you start training at Powerhouse?
Yeah, like 3 years ago.
3 years ago. Okay, so 1 year of training, and then you transitioned into triathlons.
Triathlon.
Wow, sounds very similar to Denver.
yeah. She drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
I drank Kool-Aid, yeah.
Denver, my wife signed up for her first marathon. She just
Yeah.
finished a few weeks
I
ago.
heard
She
that.
crushed it.
Awesome.
She did crush it. Yeah, 4
Yeah.
hours and 4 minutes.
Atta
Amazing.
girl.
Crazy. And now she's considering a triathlon.
Oh,
All
good for
right.
her.
So kind of following along in your footsteps.
Yeah.
Well, how did you hear about Powerhouse, and tell us what Powerhouse is?
Well, for me, it was a referral from Dr. Bazziani, who fixed my hip.
Oh.
So I was like, how, I went to Rusty and I, I needed to learn how to run right. And she goes, go to Johnny. So,
Yeah, I know her husband.
Oh, yeah,
Her
yeah.
husband fixed my back.
He also fixed my feet.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, I don't know her, but I know her husband. I had, when we first opened here, so it's been a little over about 6 years ago now, I had just a really severe lumbar strain that no one could figure out. I didn't do much for over 6 months. I tried everything from traditional massage to chiropractic, all kinds of stuff. Just couldn't get it figured out. Someone told me about Arasti, looked it up, and I found Dr. Bazziani. And 5 sessions over about a 2.5 week period, I felt better than I had in 6 months.
Yeah,
And,
they're amazing.
They're
Yes.
amazing.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. So
Yeah, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Well, Johnny, you know what you're doing as well.
Yeah,
right
well,
over
thanks,
there at
yeah.
Powerhouse. So tell us a little bit about Powerhouse, and then we can transition into specifically you guys, the nonprofit stuff that you guys are doing now.
First of all, thanks for having us. Really
Sure.
appreciate that. It's good to see you guys again. And I like the new place. This is
thanks.
great. Yeah, yeah.
It's a little smaller.
That's
you
all
know,
right.
a
Yeah,
little
we get to be
smaller.
a little bit closer,
Yeah.
a little more. Yeah, Sean calls
Okay,
it.
yeah.
I like that.
Sean
yeah.
with the vocab, you know.
Yeah. Well, Powerhouse has been around for about 13 years now, and I got to reflect on that because we've come a long way as a business. But we've always been a coaching concept. So in the past, we did some slight retail stuff, but we've always offered a place for endurance people to train for running, cycling, swimming, triathlon, specific stuff. Recently got into doing high rocks. That's another fun outlet for people. And we have a brick and mortar right here in Webster. And this is our 5th location over the 13 years. We hopefully don't move again.
Yeah.
But yeah, along the way, we've had a lot of strong relationships, met a lot of good people. And I think we've helped a lot of people along the way. You help them with their goals. And it's been very rewarding. So yeah. Thanks for having us.
The movement of locations, was that out of necessity? Getting maybe a little bigger, you kind of grew, you tried different things?
Yeah, good question. So we always wanted to combine retail and a space for workouts. So that was the original concept. But so we would grow in different locations based on that need. And as our client base grew, then we needed more space for workouts, that kind of thing. So as a business model, we've kind of floated in and out of that. And I think we've been lucky that we're not just retail or not just a workout facility. We're a little bit of both, especially through COVID. That's been something hard for a lot of businesses to navigate. But our recent focus has been really services. We're pulling away from retail, and then we started the nonprofit, Powerhouse Patriots.
Powerhouse Patriots is what it's called.
That's what it's called, yep.
Okay.
And we help military members, veterans, and first responders get into endurance sports. So we did a lot of research in the past. We found how that was helpful for a lot of people that are separating from the military or in the military, or even first responders that lose that social connectiveness that they may have had in the military. By adding endurance training for short-term and long-term wellness benefits and a place for them to come and debrief and kind of relax and talk. And if they need to, we found that some of these people that separate from the military and first responders still have a lot of demons that they're dealing with that aren't visible. And we would just wanted to provide a place for them to come and talk if they needed a place to talk. You know, we're not counselors, but we already had the tools at our fingertips. We had the place, we had the coaching, we had the want to do it, and we had to just kind of figure everything out. So when I started coaching Amanda, she told me that she was a grant writer for the Humane Society at that time, and was asking her questions about, hey, how do you create a nonprofit and how does that work? And she started to answer a lot of my questions. So I'm like, hey, do you want to try this thing? I've been thinking about helping people that have approached us about training, couldn't really afford it. So the more research I did and finding that we had things right at our fingertips, we launched the nonprofit with Amanda's help and my wife, Andrea. We're the 3 board members. So, and it's really grown really quickly. So,
Wow, so it kind of just happened organically. You were considering it.
yeah.
And what started the initial thought to help the veteran population specifically? Was there something, do you have maybe a relationship or a specific incident that happened in your life?
No, well, being a veteran myself, 21 years retired, Air National Guard. There are people that approached the Powerhouse probably 4 or 5 handful of times in the recent past that were asking for coaching or helping, wanting to get into triathlon and the sport. And I couldn't really put connect the dots on why we're being approached. They're just different career fields. They were coming to us and, we would help them for a little bit and then they would leave or they might come back. And, they wanted a shirt to be part of the group and that kind of thing. But they never really kind of stuck around. And 1 or 2 people did. So I was thinking that, they're coming into this sport because there's a lot of value. There's a lot of unseen value to having a goal race. Because if you retire from the military, you no longer have a mission, right? Mm. So your mission's gone, your team is gone. If you're lucky, you get into another work environment or retirement environment where you have peers that you can do something with. But for these people, they were finding it in the sport. and which is kind of where we kind of started that structure by saying, okay, if I can provide a structured training plan for you, you come to our group workouts, you meet your new peers, and along the way, you'll get stronger, build healthy habits. We wanted to do that before. The problem with separation is sometimes people lose that connectiveness, and they might be suffering from PTSD, and they aren't getting the help that they need from the VA or from counseling, that kind of thing. So we try to get in between that by offering, hey, a training program, something for them to train for, a goal race, and then along the way, we track that data and hopefully help them build those healthy habits. So a story that I can tell you is a friend of ours that approached us after we started the nonprofit, confided in me that she had lost her son. And I'd known she had lost her son, but I didn't know that he had separated from the military only 2 years ago, and she told me, yeah, when he left the military, he had PTSD and he turned to addiction and he didn't get the counseling that he was hoping to get from the VA. So there's a big hole, and these people, first of all, being diagnosed and then finding help. So he took his own life, unfortunately. And that she was saying it was only, a couple of years ago that they had lost him. So if there's any way that our program can kind of get in between that, maybe even give her another year with her son or not have to experience that. That's really what the program is targeting. We're not counselors. We're not going to solve, a lot of these problems all at once. But I think by providing the environment that we have, this good environment with our people and peers, I think it would be a good door to open, a good chance for these people that might be suffering to find a better way to express, get healthy, and kind of relieve those mental, demons if they have them.
Sure. Yeah. I'm not a veteran, and I'm not I've never been an addict either, but the way that you kind of described not having a mission, it's kind of, I can relate to that, to someone that grew up playing team sports. And I've helped a lot of former athletes, and actually a lot of people in recovery I've had as clients as well as a personal trainer.
Yeah.
Those two scenarios between whether they're in recovery or former athlete, people that are in recovery, they need something. Yeah. They need that outlet of something, and fitness can be that thing. And the cool thing about endurance sports, one of the reasons that I first got into running is it's just such a low barrier of entry, or to actually go running, right? You don't need a facility. You just go outside, you make it easy. You find someone like yourself that can guide, you find a good group, and then it's easy just to go, and then people from former team sports, similar to veterans, if someone's been in team sports, especially if they were successful, right? Yeah. If they're successful in team sports, they've always had a coach.
Yep.
They've always had a plan. They know to show up to the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 5 a.m. And their training plan's going to be ready for them. But when they're no longer related to a sport, or they're no longer in combat and in active service, like what you're saying, now it's like, well, what do I do?
Right.
So maybe,
You're kind of lost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You feel lost. So Amanda, maybe you can talk a little bit about, how having the surroundings, because you're an athlete of Johnny's, right? So talk about how having that structured environment has helped you be a better athlete, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I've said this a couple times. It could be like our Powerhouse tagline: "Come for the training, stay for the community," because it's really.
Aww. Shucks.
I mean, I've said this to Andrew and Johnny so many times.
We need to put that on a sticker or something.
I mean, I've thanked them repeatedly for creating this community, because it's just a great group of people. Everybody's really supportive. I mean, we've got people, especially coming in from like the triathlon side of it, that have never swam, right? They can hardly get across the pool, but we're all there cheering them on, and eventually they get through a sprint triathlon, which is 500 meter, and then they go after a quarter, and then they go after a half, and they keep going and building and stretching those goals and seeing how far they can go, and it's huge. It's really powerful.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, so I've benefited a huge amount from the community. I mean, it's not only just the coaches. We have, a series of coaches, Johnny and Andrea and Sean, and they're all really helpful. But then also just within the community, there's lots of people that just have a lot of knowledge. So if Johnny can't answer the question or he's not around, I can, ask somebody else and they can provide that feedback. Or, everybody has a different way of racing too. So you can ask for like what works for you and, diet and whatnot. And so that's really helpful. So yeah, it's a really great community. And so providing that for people that do have these demons or these stressors from being separated from the military is pretty powerful. I mean, I have, so my son is an active duty Marine and he wants to do the full 20 years. He's bought in, he loves the Marine Corps. And I think about when he does separate, what's going to carry him, what is he going to carry with him? And so, it was important for me to be part of this because if I can help somebody like my son, then I want to be able to do that.
Yeah, Johnny, you were a grant writer. I'm not sure exactly what that means. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about that, as well as like your role in the current. What's the name again?
Powerhouse Patriots.
Powerhouse Patriots.
Yeah.
So if you could tell us like what a grant writer is, what you were doing, and then also, do you play that same role in Powerhouse Patriots and exactly what you do?
Sure. So, I'm basically work to raise money for nonprofits. So I started working at a small nonprofit in Galveston. I switched over to the Houston Humane Society, and now I work for the University of Houston. So I fundraise for the University of Houston for the students. My side hustle, my side gig is to help Powerhouse Patriots. So eventually we're going to start going after some grants, but so a grant could be from a private foundation. So, Joe Smith wins the lotto and he sets aside, $10 million into a foundation. And with that foundation, he can then support different nonprofits with whatever their mission is. Or it could be like a state or a federal grant where the federal government or the state government has set aside money to help nonprofits pursue their mission. So when we have a little bit more time under our belt, then I'm going to start writing some grants for us. But then there's also a whole other host of fundraising things that we have to do. Like we had in the fall, we had an event called, it was Kona Watch Party, where we had an auction and we had food and drinks and raffles and stuff like that. So we're trying to find other ways to raise money. So right now we're raffling a Garmin 965 watch.
Garmin watch.
Okay.
So if anybody wants to buy raffle tickets,
some tickets.
Cool.
Hit it up.
we'll get the confirmation, or we'll put in our contact information later on. But
sure. Please.
So we're raffling off a Garmin 965 watch on March 17th. So that's one way we're raising money.
Okay.
And we're always looking for ways to bring in money to support more Patriots. So
awesome. And if you don't mind me asking, like, what is the average donation, or what type of donations are you guys looking for, I guess?
We've been creative. So some people have donated what they can, and that's all we ask. If you are interested in donating. And we also got creative by saying, hey, if you have any used equipment or old equipment that you're not currently using, and you can donate it to the program, we fix it up like a triathlon bicycle or a mountain bike. We'll fix it up. We'll sell it on Craigslist. As soon as it sells, the money goes to the Patriots program, and then the person that donated it gets a letter from us with our EIN so that they can write off that amount that it sold for. Awesome. So that's one way we've been able to do it.
So there's no minimum donation amount?
Absolutely not. No.
Every little bit helps.
No, just a minimum of $5,000.
If you're feeling up to it, Sean.
Just drop like 3 Bitcoin in there.
So you can go to patriots24.org and make your donation now using your credit card.
But you can also, like Johnny said, donate supplies. How would someone do that?
Yeah, just email or text me, or bring whatever you have by the Powerhouse.
Okay.
We have to, we'll take it in. We'll take it off your hands. Sometimes this equipment's just sitting in somebody's garage.
Yeah.
A treadmill or a bike trainer or something.
I know plenty of treadmills that are probably doing nothing right now.
We've seen some
Bikes.
Peloton bikes, whatever. We'll clean it up, make sure it's safe first, and
Sure.
then we donate it, or we sell it, and then the money goes to the
So it doesn't
nonprofit.
necessarily have to be a triathlon bike.
No.
Okay, that's
no.
what I was thinking. I was thinking
Yeah.
you were
No.
taking in a bike that could be used in the race, but not necessarily.
No, I think we've taken in trainers. We've taken in a treadmill. No, a spin bike. What else has there been?
So
Some
if Johnny can fix it,
wetsuits.
you'll take it.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
That's
we
pretty
don't-
much anything,
You know,
I'd
just
imagine.
we don't want to take in a bike from 1970.
No, I
probably.
understand.
You know,
Sure.
I mean, it
Yeah.
has to be usable and
Right.
whatnot.
Safe. Yeah.
and safe.
Make it
Yes.
Safe, yeah. And then if the item is just sitting there, that also gives us an opportunity to put a Patriot on it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a bike or or a piece of equipment that they could benefit from too. So there's a couple different ways we can help if you end up donating something that we can use.
Yeah,
So-
very cool. So Amanda is working to bring money into the foundation.
Yeah. So when we first talked about getting grants, she said, well, first of all, we need to show some community buy-in. I'm like, well, what does that mean? Well, your community needs to support your mission. And I'm like, okay, well, our mission is to help our military veterans and first responder get into endurance sports. It's kind of simple, but there's a lot more layers to that. And the community has been great. I mean, our first fundraiser has been great. People donating stuff. There were clients that have worked with us in the past that no longer do triathlons or are involved in the sport. Now they're playing golf or something
Sure.
like, which is cool. So that's part of the community buy-in that I believe she was talking about, and we're getting pretty good at it. I mean, we can always use more. Somebody donated a trailer, so that's been nice. Yeah.
Cool. You're trying to sell it for the funds, or?
Well, we've got it in the family right now, so
Okay.
we're going to keep it around. I think we have my bike mechanic, Rod Kennard, is also doing a charity for homeless people.
Okay.
So he works on bikes, he refurbishes them, and then gives them to the homeless.
Oh, cool.
So it's kind of, we couldn't get any cooler than that. I mean, we got a trailer, he's using it, we're using it, so in some way, we're helping a lot of people down the
Yeah.
road. So that's kind of what this is all about.
Finding
So-
creative ways to use anything that you can get your hands on is so beneficial
Yeah.
to actually making something work and starting something.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Johnny, can you tell us maybe a little more specifically, like what you do? Because I'm assuming that you're the one making the decisions of what to do with the funds that come in, right?
Yeah.
So can you
Yeah.
talk about like exactly how the Patriots are benefiting from the money?
Yeah. So if you're a Patriot, you get coaching. We wanted to give them red carpet coaching treatment. So basically, if they've served their country or they're serving their community or served their community in the past, we want to give them a coaching experience that they may not have been able to have unless they're in the program. So at the Powerhouse, they got coaching for a year. They've got access to all of the equipment, and then sometimes down the road, we want to also offer stretching services. So we want to get them in a good routine with their training and that kind of thing. And then hopefully, if we get enough funding, we want to have bikes, helmets, shoes, wetsuits, anything that they might need in order to be successful in endurance sports.
Awesome.
So in the training looks like, we have, 3 strength classes a week. We have do 2 yoga sessions a week. We have spin together. We have swim. Did I ever say swim? Swim on Monday nights.
Yep.
We have like a group run once a month, and we have a group ride every Sunday. So it's, really you could be I feel like Powerhouse is like my second home. I'm there
That's what Judson says too. her
almost
husband.
every day.
Yeah.
I think I am there every day of the week. So there's a lot of opportunity to engage and be with, surround and immersed in the community.
Yeah, so the Patriots come and be a part of Powerhouse with the other
Yes.
athletes that you have. So
Yeah.
the community is automatically larger
Yeah.
because
yeah.
of that.
And we've grown. We started with some of the clients that we were already trained because we needed content for our website.
Mhm.
That was part of the building process. So when when I pulled those veterans aside and I said, or the first responders and said, "Hey, you five, we need to hear your story. Give us a couple of sentences on how you find training with Powerhouse has been beneficial to you." Boom, we got pages of information. They're like paragraphs. Like, man, how do we trim this down and make it fit on the website? So we got their pictures, put them on the website with their story, and if you click on that, you'll get to read. Some have weight loss journeys. Some are fighting off addiction. Some are just mental stress relief.
You don't, without saying any names, can you maybe give us tell us a story of one?
Yeah. One of our guys is separated. I think after 6 years in the military, turned to the sport, but wasn't successful at first. Moved it here to Houston. His wife got a job here, and he started training with us. And he's still going, to the VA for counseling, that kind of thing. But along the way, he's just been building and becoming a better and better athlete. Mm-hmm. So it's been really helpful for him as well. And he's actually one of our coaches. Oh, so cool. He's working with people as well. And, his story's on the website. So, yeah, if you go to the website and check it out, they're all great. We have ex-commanders. We have people that are E3s in the Navy that are separated. We have a pediatric nurse that has worked with us. And from the initial 5, it's grown to 15. So, wow. And we've got 2 more people on the waiting list. And that's because of the community buy-in. That's without a grant or anything like that, but we've been able to grow pretty quickly.
Yeah, and actually she was a former client, just came back in this morning.
Oh, good.
And said that she's a part of the program, and I told her that you were coming today.
Oh, really?
I'll tell you the name later. But
okay.
She said, good. "Hey, make sure you tell Johnny that I'm not missing, that I'm sorry, that I'm ready." And so yeah, deal. She's ready to go.
Yeah,
these guys follow me around everywhere.
Yeah, ready to get to where and super excited. She's been
cool.
She's a client previously. It's been maybe a year, about a year or so.
Yeah,
kind of fell off a little bit. And has been remotivated by this triathlon thing.
Yeah, cool. Good.
And so it's working. It's out there, Good. So what are your, I guess, efforts to get the Patriots themselves? Because we've been talking about like how the nonprofit works itself, but like how do the Patriots become a part of the program, or how do you find them, or how do they find you, I guess?
Yeah, so I think that's a great question because it caused a lot of reflection on my end. I don't know if I've shared this with you, but from growing from 5 people to 15, just in this little corner of town, makes me think, and I have to believe that there's a big need for this on a bigger scale.
I'm sure there is.
Which is my vision for this program is to be a regional program for different areas of the country for people to come and do what we're doing. So right now it's really just been word of mouth where we've talked to people that have come and heard about the program. And we have a waiting list, and that's just in the greater League City, Clear Lake, Friendswood, just this part of town, so there's a lot more out there that need help or want to be a part of the program. And that's kind of what we want to do is build on that.
Mm-hmm. So they're on a waiting list, right? And what are they waiting for exactly?
Money.
Funding. Yeah. Funding, yeah.
I mean, we have no limit of veterans and first responders that we can help. They come asking for the help. Yeah. It's just I had to Andrea and I had to temper Johnny. We're like, so we know we can take on another 5,
right?
But we need more money. We need, so that's kind of where we are right now. We're just we need to fundraise some more so that we can support more.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Well, if there's anything that we can do, to help do that, definitely be a part. Any events that you guys are doing,
cool.
Make sure that you let us know.
Yeah,
we'll definitely come by and be a part of that. Do you have any on the horizon? I know you said the raffle for the Garmin, and you mentioned you said y'all's first event. So tell me a little bit about the events, like what you guys do with them. Where are they?
Yeah. We haven't decided on a fall event yet.
Okay. So you're thinking once a season, or?
A lot of it's budget driven, right?
Yeah.
So we're waiting for, and as we have these events, it just kind of explodes a little bigger and a little bigger and a little bigger. So unfortunately, we planned our last event the day of your Halloween party.
Oh, okay.
Which was when everything else in Houston was going on.
Yeah, it's a tough time.
And
to,
so-
Festival,
Yeah,
air show,
right.
Air shows that weekend.
Phil's Halloween party.
yeah.
And the Kona Watch party, I think we still had like 50 people there. Something
Wow.
like that came
That's
in.
good. Where
We
was
had-
it?
At the Powerhouse.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
But when you have to rent tables and chairs and all that stuff and make it look nice, and which she was really good at, her and Andrea. There's a lot of work that goes into it.
I
a
understand.
lot of planning.
Yeah.
We got to get along the way. Like months prior, we're getting donations from people. Like we had a couple of baskets, some race entries that people donated.
That was awesome.
Yeah, and so that just drove momentum.
Mm-hmm.
And once we got that going, and we told that group what we were doing, and we had a little slideshow. I think it was really, it was good for me because then I knew that what we were doing had good roots, and we started rolling that ball forward. It's good momentum. So
Yeah, events are very tough.
Mhm.
I've learned that. I'm not, to be honest with you, from like a small business perspective, I'm not huge on events.
It's
They're
hard.
They're a lot of work. They cost money.
yeah.
Everyone's busy all the time, But 50 people showing up to an event is an amazing turnout. How did you make that happen?
Well, I mean, we advertised it a lot to our just to our community. The wait or the not the wait list, but the email list that the Powerhouse has, because we have 13 years of service to the community, is quite long, and so that was a lot of it, and family and personal invitations to family and friends come on out. And, like I invited a friend who is now going to be a Patriot. She's in this third cohort. And she's a police officer, and so I invited her to come down, and now she's a Patriot. So
Okay.
just stuff like that.
Yeah. So you said third cohort. What exactly does that mean?
So we started with our first initial 5.
Okay.
And then we added 5 more,
5 more, yeah.
and then we added another 5.
Yep.
Oh, to get to the 15.
Yeah, to get to the
Gotcha.
15.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so is it like a sign up time, like a period? Like that's what the cohort is? Is that like when it opens up and it's like, okay, you guys can
Yeah,
join?
that's a great question. So the way I see it working in my head is we upload, and if you're just looking at it from a business perspective, and it kind of is, then you upload a group of athletes all at one time, and you train them for a year. So each person will be in a program for a year. So to make it simple, we loaded everybody at the beginning of January, although the first 5 had already been working with us. And then, like, we want to bring in another group in the next quarter. So it's a cyclical thing where we have people coming on and going and staying with us for a year, and we hope to keep them on as Patriots as long as we possibly can, as funding permits. But so we try to keep them on for a cycle rather than just onboarding them one at a time. It's just really hard to track, because what we do is we ask for data from these athletes. We ask them to fill out questionnaires to start with. There's going to be a midterm questionnaire and then an exiting questionnaire. And then Amanda's going to help me grab that data so we can create the fancy pie charts that grants like to look at as far as success rate and attendance and that kind of thing, so that we can show people that we already know. The fact is, they are benefiting from the program. So that's really, it works in kind of a cycle with the data gathering and that kind of thing. So
Yeah, and then once you had that, you can turn it in for the grants. Is what you're saying? That's like
Yeah,
the
that's
important
kinda-
part.
it's a tool.
It becomes a tool to sort of attract a foundation to give money. It's like, okay, you've already, we see that not only do you have some community buy-in, so it's important to your community, but also it's making an impact in your community. And so, yes, you're more likely to
It works.
get money that way.
Yeah, like your money. That's kind of why I was asking the question earlier of like how specifically is it used? Because if someone's going to be giving money, they want to know that it's effective, I guess is the point, right? They're actually doing something.
And so like having the cohorts is almost like insurance. You're building insurance that you guys are making a change in the community.
Yes.
Like changes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've
I'll
did
look
some.
at that.
Yeah, and we hope to. I'd like to do some deeper studies. I'm not sure how to do that, but the studies, in the sports medicine, the National Library of Sports Medicines have already been done, and that's kind of where I started with researching the effectiveness of training or how workouts are prescribed for people that are suffering from depression and PTSD. And it's already there, and how first responders are diagnosed with depression and PTSD and how they treat it. And, then you look at the studies with coaching and how that connectiveness and that feeling of being part of something and being part of a program, how that's also another layer of benefit that we hope to deliver to these patriots. So it's already there. We just pulled it out. We're holding on to the data. Hopefully, with the information we get from our current patriots, we can provide a big story that hopefully one day will go regional and help more people.
Yeah, and it sounds like the way that you have it structured is it's the best of everything. It's coaching, it's community, and the thing that's really standing out to me is it's like-minded community.
Yep.
Right? So not only is everyone there to be better, but from the Patriots, they've all experienced their past. And I know most people that are struggling mentally, they need someone to relate to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So have you seen, like, I know you said that the Patriots come in and they're a part of Powerhouse, but have you really seen maybe the individual cohorts or just the Patriots in general really come together and grow together throughout the time?
Yeah, so we just started looking at it just in the recent past. But the first 5 have already been, really responsive. They're hitting their goals. They're actually becoming really good athletes.
Awesome.
On top of that, their willingness to help others. And I'm not when they come into the program, we also tell them that, hey, as a Patriot, we hope that you help us with some volunteer opportunities. And more than anything, we just want you to come and listen. If somebody needs to bend your ear about something, and keep it completely private if you want, but they may want to just come and talk.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody's going to enter the program with mental demons or anything like that. Everybody that served their community or served their country or is currently doing that is still eligible to become a patriot. Like I said, we're not trying to fix all these life problems, but we do want to offer a place for people to come in and find that community if they need help.
Yeah. Are there any other requirements other than to be a veteran active performer?
I think the only real requirement is that they separated in good standing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
so that they've fulfilled their contract with their country,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing, and that's really it.
Yeah. Awesome. You mentioned the goal is to go regional. Can
Yeah.
you tell us like exactly what that means and how you see it getting to that point? Like what is, let's say the success is step 10 and you're on step 1 now.
Yes.
All right. What is step 2? What is 3? What is 4? What's on your mind?
Yeah, so I think if we can help at least 50 patriots in our current facility, and we can employ maybe another handful of coaches to help all those people, maybe even grow the facility, and then the end goal would be to have these different locations in different parts of the country where we can grow that same concept.
Mhm.
I think it's going to be a big need and a big benefit for people to grow into endurance sports. The need is there. That it's kind of confusing to sell because it's like, well, no one else is doing this. No one else. There are different groups like RWB that offer, a bike or something like that. But when you really bust into training plans and structured training, the underlining benefit of building healthy habits while you're shooting for your goals, that's hard to put on paper, but that's really the backbone of what we're trying to do. And once somebody gets into that routine, hopefully that they'll build those lifelong habits. And just like any of us enrolled in or like Denver enrolled in a coaching program, they see first of all, the short-term benefits. My goal is a marathon. Lifelong benefits is that, hey, I want to be here longer, walking on the beach with my grandchildren children,
Yes.
not attached to
Mhm.
an air machine or laying in a bed in the hospital.
Yeah. It is interesting that, you know, like you said, the business model, or I guess, would you still call it a business model, even though it's like a not for profit, right? It's still of coaching, the
Yeah.
tangibility of that is difficult, right?
Yeah.
So, what keeps you motivated to do that versus just go have a nonprofit that refurbishes bikes and gives them to people?
Yeah, I think just the reward of having or seeing the athletes achieve their goals time and time again has been very helpful. I've had some athletes or some of the Patriots that have already confided in me on how this has helped them. Just to have someone who asks how they're doing,
Mm-hmm.
or to provide a training plan, whether they're doing it or not. Maybe they're hitting 40% of their workouts, but when they get that email or that text from the coach saying, "Hey, how are you doing? Things going okay?" Then they kind of click back into gear. And for me, that's been rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
And having the environment and and the house that we've built for everybody to come has been a place that they look forward to coming to. Not all of them do, but that has already been a work in progress that we already had at our fingertips. So it's been really rewarding.
Yeah, I can relate to that, and that's I asked that question out of pure curiosity for myself because we have a service based business as well.
Yep.
It definitely comes with its
Yeah.
I don't want to say issues is not the right word, complications,
Yeah.
right?
I think that what Powerhouse has, which is unique from other endurance coaches, is that physical space. Because there's lots of running coaches that are just online and they maybe meet you over Zoom, but they don't sit and eat tacos and debrief about your race with you like that.
Dang, so you tell me
different.
how to win a race and I get tacos?
Yes.
Yes,
Definitely.
tacos
You're
are
signing
really important part of the nutrition plan.
Yeah.
Ultimate recovery.
Get me in there.
Your recovery is important, and it's all due to
Tacos.
types of tacos that you eat.
Yeah.
How many?
That is very interesting, though, about Powerhouse is a lot of coaching these days has moved online.
Yep.
And I would assume that you do have an online aspect of your business, right, to help with delivering training plans and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But primarily it is a brick and mortar location that people show up to
Yeah.
and actually have the ability to connect in person.
Yeah.
Can you maybe talk about, have you ever done a strictly online
No
program?
I have not. But I mean, thinking about things like, my swim, like I took swim lessons my whole life, but I wasn't afraid of drowning, but just having the coach there to work on my technique and whatnot has improved my swimming a whole bunch. Now, for a lot of triathlon coaches and, athletes that just go to the pool and swim on their own, they're not going to see that in kind of improvement.
Right. We believe the same. The online world got really big for us in our industry as well. We're in the same industry, but sub niche, I guess you would call it, of like in fitness. It's happening a lot as well. And I've had, people try to talk me into like doing online and, hey, we should offer online. There's a big, you're passing up a lot of money there. And I'm like, I'll pass it up to be able to provide what I believe is a better service, which is an in-person situation. Because anyone can check a box that they said that they went and did 3 sets of bench press, some squats, some lunges.
Yeah.
But like, well, how did they do it though? And the only way to know that is actually be there with them, So maybe share why has the brick and mortar, even though, and you said you've gone in and out of retail, right? Retail can be done online. Coaching for sure can be done online. Why have you continued to keep a physical location?
It's for that reason. I think it's built the foundation of the powerhouse of the people, and it's kept everybody together. It allowed us to offer more services that we were good at, like bike fitting and bike repairs, running analysis. I mean, I can meet somebody at a park and have them run and videotape them, but I can't show them the proper way to do some strength training, how to improve those imbalances without the gym, without having the slam balls or the kettlebells or that kind of thing. And I personally want to see those athletes practice those movements before I write it and send it to them. So along the way, some of these people will use the facility just for other things like, financial planning meetings, that kind of thing. Hey, can I use the facility? Absolutely. Yeah, come on. I have a firefighter that comes when he can because he's got a crazy schedule. So he just asked me, hey, can I come in like at 9 o'clock at night? I'm like, yeah, just text me when you leave. I would not be able to do that without, my own brick and mortar. And with that comes a lot of overhead, as you know.
Yeah.
So the cost for these athletes and these individuals is, not for everyone, So that's part of the funding part is to keep those doors open so that they have a place to come to.
Yeah, I do have another question about the funding, but then I wanted to talk about, you talked about the running analysis and stuff. I like to talk about what that looks like and how detailed that it can be and how you actually help these Patriots and other athletes you work with. But before that, just so I don't forget, you mentioned that when you get to 50, the coaching that comes along with it.
Yes.
And I'm assuming that paying the coaches is a part of the funding, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah,
can you talk
absolutely.
about how many coaches that you think it would take to actually grow this thing where you want it?
That's a great question because not all the coaches are the time availability for each coach isn't the same across the board. Like Dr. Baziani, she's one of our coaches,
Okay.
but she doesn't actively find running clients. We send them to her when they're dealing with maybe coming into the sport with an injury or something. We're like, okay, well, you probably needed a doctor to talk to you about
Okay.
more.
As needed, right?
Yeah,
for that.
so her capacity is a lot less than say Coach Sean or myself actually. So that's a great question. I think if each of our coaches can handle 10 clients and one-on-one, and at swim sessions and at through emails and texts and that kind of thing, I think that's a great start.
So 10 to 1.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I'm personally like at 23 to 30 clients.
But you're more of a
myself.
full-time.
Yeah,
So a full-time coach could take on 25.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. And is that the goal for Powerhouse Patriots is to have full-time coaches on staff or?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that'd be great. Yeah, if we can have some full-time coaches, first of all, we'd employ them, and then then they would have much better outreach. We'd be able to handle more Patriots.
Mm-hmm. And how do you see yourself like acquiring those coaches over time?
Based on needs, the Patriots and funding.
Mhm.
If we can get more funding, then we can bring in more Patriots. The more Patriots will drive the need for more coaches.
And so if you had the funding first, then you can guarantee them, obviously you got to get paid, right? They need a salary
Yes.
type of situation. So
Exactly.
that is something that you're hoping to,
Absolutely.
with having funding, we actually have coaches on staff full time to help these people.
That would be awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. Sounds
Yeah.
like a goal, man.
That's it. Yeah.
We're all about
Yeah.
goals in this community,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Let's get one of those soon. Well, let's right back to the so when someone comes in, and I'm a former client myself. I ran my first marathon with
Yeah.
Coach Sean.
Oh, okay.
And so I did the running analysis, so I am familiar. But why don't you tell us when someone comes in for coaching, whether it's obviously right now we're talking about the Patriots, right? So if it's a Patriots that comes in, or just anyone that comes in to Powerhouse or Powerhouse Patriots, what does here at OTG we call it an onboarding process, right? So
Right.
tell us what that looks like for the Patriots, though.
Yeah, first of all, we have they come in, we talk to them a little bit about their current fitness levels, where they're at, depending on their goals, if they're wanting to run a marathon or triathlon, that kind of thing, if they're new to the sport, or they just want to learn how to swim. We figure out what they want to do, and then we make that goal realistic. Maybe say, okay, well, if you don't know how to swim, you probably don't need to do an Ironman in the next 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So let's look at maybe a sprint triathlon or something like that. So that conversation is super important to start with. And then we figure out their availability, for their time availability, life schedule. And then I personally will write notes during that interview on how to load a training plan for that person where it's they can complete it and it's not too much overbearing or they're not under training. And if they're new to running or swimming or that kind of thing, then I tell them, hey, you need to come to these workouts, the strength training workouts. If you're coming to me with an injury, then we need to look at those imbalances. We need to make those hips stronger or those glutes stronger or something like that. It's really gets more hands-on after that. Once the training plan's loaded, they look at it through Training Peaks and they say, "Oh shit!" What have I done?
Can you tell us what training? Can you tell us what Training Peaks is?
Training Peaks is our coaching portal.
Okay.
So that's how we load all of our workouts.
So the client has access to it, or the Patriots have access to it at all times on their phone.
Yes. Yep.
Becomes part of your person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So workout gets emailed to them daily.
Okay.
Or they can look on their phone to see what the workout is for today.
Mm-hmm.
If you're like a manish, you'll look weeks ahead.
Yeah, Denver does that too.
And,
Yeah.
And I'm going to be traveling to Buffalo with the girls on that day, and there has to be an 80-mile bike ride.
Yeah. I'll figure this out.
Yeah. So once the plan is written, I load everything at one time
Okay.
based on that race, and that's my personal strategy on coaching people. And that's really just a pathway. All right, I'm not saying that that's the perfect way to do it. Then I look at travel dates for that client, and I log those in. And then I look at the weekly periodization for the weekend load of training, and then the monthly periodization to make sure it makes sense.
Can you define periodization for us and like what
Yeah.
exactly that means from like week to week, month to month?
Yes, it's a progressive load. So it's the 80-20 concept. So 80% of the workouts should be done Monday through Friday. If you want to do, say you're doing a 10-mile run on Saturday, so you should have run at least 80% of that run Monday through, what did I say, Friday or Saturday?
Mhm.
Friday.
Friday. So Thursday through Monday should have been at least 80% of that before you apply that weekend load. If they've only ran once and it's 30 minutes, then that weekend load could be a little too much for them. So that's where the coaching comes in. I back it off and I say, what's going on? Do you need help with something, or why did you miss those runs? Let's shift everything around. And that's really the coaching portal part. And that's progressive load and what we call periodization.
And so basically what you're doing is making sure that the athlete is progressing slowly over time, not putting themselves at risk of injury, make sure they're getting stronger in a safe and efficient way.
Absolutely. Based on their current fitness level.
Yes.
And then we do that. There'll be a progressive load of like 10%, 15%, depends on the athlete. And we progress that over 3 weeks, usually with the fourth week being a recovery.
Okay.
And then we load up again, and then again until we get. Sometimes we'll force endurance, so we'll overload the mileage or the time and intensity for that distance. If the athlete can absorb that training, and that gives us a really good aerobic foundation to build from. But sometimes we don't have that much time. It's like, okay, I want to be fit and do an Ironman in 8 weeks. Well, all right, that's a quick ramp.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to hate me after a couple weeks. But I have people that try it. You know, typically the more time you have to work with an athlete, you can break that down into specific strength training blocks.
Sure.
You can load like a bike specific things if they're a weak cyclist, or just strength training, kind of like you guys here at OTG. You know, let's make that foundation nice and strong before we start adding that progressive load of endurance training.
Yeah. So you have that perfect combination of community and like training, right? Because you need both to be successful, right? You can't just show up rah, 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 right? But you also can't just be like all or nothing on this thing, because either one of them can one may lead to no results, and the other could lead to burnout.
Yeah.
But when you combine them both, that's
But
the
then-
secret sauce.
But then the other part of that Venn diagram is then like, how do you manage your life, right? Which I feel like not only the coaches, but then the community is really helpful with. How are you feeding yourself?
Sure.
When you're training, when you're not training? Are you sleeping? How do you manage when you're training for an Ironman? It's like a part-time job. And so like, how are you managing your day-to-day and still working and training and hopefully spending time with your family? No, but all those things, which, is part of the community is and the coaches and the training plan. You kind of have to have it all together to.
Yeah. Can you share a
be
little bit of
successful.
your experience when you first started and kind of how that came together for you?
Well, I mean, starting out with I was
Kind of loops all back to tacos.
It,
doesn't it?
it totally locked exactly. So starting out with just doing marathon training, I feel like marathon training is a lot, but it's more manageable.
Okay.
But I also I started in March, and my goal was to run the Marine Corps Marathon in October. So Johnny worked with me a lot to build up that base, and so that I wasn't ramping up too fast and getting injured, right? So, and then, when I transitioned into triathlon, I really built it up. So I started with just doing some sprints. I did 1 or 2 sprints, and then I did a quarter, and then I did 2 halves, and now I'm training for my first Ironman. So
Oh, wow. When's that?
April 26th.
9 weeks, 8 weeks.
9 weeks.
Signed up already?
Oh, yeah.
Very good. We had a bad experience with that. Denver, my wife forgot to sign up for her marathon. So we had to push it out 2 weeks to the next one, which it's kind of worked out. We really enjoyed that event, and Johnny reassured her that it was okay. There's
the weather
another
was
race.
definitely a lot better.
The weather was good. It was a smaller event, so it was maybe good for her first one. Anyways, so yeah, it all worked out.
That was great. The 10 o'clock Friday night phone call. Hey, coach.
Whoops.
Yeah. And it was the week before.
Oh,
I think it was just right about a week out. About a week out. So, yeah. But she made it and she did great.
Yeah.
Well, I know we talked about a lot of things. Is there anything about Powerhouse Patriots that we should discuss or mention before we kind of wrap up?
No, I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Always been a good house for us to kind of come and rest and feed our clients too. We know that they'll be taken care of here. Good to see Sean again. Hopefully that last PFT didn't run you off too much. The high rock stuff. You did awesome.
I'm just filming the high rocks. I'm just filming it.
You killed him, dude.
It was my favorite.
You killed him, dude.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
It kind of felt like punishment.
That's what you said.
Yeah, it felt like punishment. And I was joking that day, but as I drove around and kind of thought about it, I was like, damn, that really did feel like I was in trouble. Johnny was
Why do these people hate me?
Yeah.
No, we love you.
No, it
Glad
was
you
a
came,
great time. That was
so.
a great time.
Yeah, when when this issue clears up, my hand is much better now. I don't know. The past year I've had just a variety of issues injury wise. But I want to get onto the high rocks and stay consistent and start coming. Denver's been really consistent coming over to you guys' place for the high rocks training with her partner. So she's really enjoying it and staying.
Awesome.
And she hits all of her workouts. She comes up here. Our schedules are a little wacky, It's just here, home, and everything. So she's always finds a way to get it in there. But sorry, I kind of changed the subject there. But
No.
was there anything else that we need to discuss?
No, I mean, we're looking for, more community sport. We're looking for sponsors. So anybody out there, if you're interested in sponsoring, we're working right now on designing our kits for our Patriots. We want them to, when they're racing, whether they're running a marathon or they're doing a triathlon, we want them to look really fresh and sweet out there. And so, we're looking for sponsors, put your name on the logo on the kit. So, if you're interested in supporting us, that would be huge right now. And then just in general, donations, again, you can go to phpatriots24.org is our website, and you can donate online there.
Yeah, and I'd like to say thank you to our current partners and sponsors. So Lone Star IV Medics, a friend of ours out of Galveston, hooked us up with them. They donated some money and some time. Also, Mattresses for Less. They've been a long supporter of Powerhouse.
Cool.
Decided to support this program this year. Scratch Nutrition came on board in October, and we appreciate them. And there's one more that I'm trying to think of. The
We'll throw it in the notes.
Yeah.
We'll put it.
Yeah.
Sean will put it in put it in the show notes.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
put it in the description and make a special post.
Yeah, we've been holding off by putting those partners on our website because I wanted, before we made our race kits, because I wanted everything to be in place.
Mm.
So once we get, I'm thinking we probably have room for a couple more on there, then we can finalize all that. Those will go on the website, and we'll be able to rock and roll. Yeah, so
Sweet. Any social medias for the at the moment?
We do have Facebook.
Okay.
But that is as far as we've gotten. I mean, Facebook, Instagram.
Okay.
But that's it.
Gotcha. And do you know the? We'll put it in as well. Don't worry.
I
Yeah,
I
no
can't
problem.
remember.
Yeah.
Patriots
It's-
24.
That's our website. It's probably our Facebook handle as well.
Okay.
Gosh, that's terrible.
Yeah,
I
that's
should
okay.
probably know that, right?
Yeah. Well, that's no biggie.
Power of editing, right?
Yeah. This is pretty new, right? And so hopefully over the next, I mean, I don't know. Do you have a time goal? I guess last question. Do you have a time goal for getting to the 50? Let's call it the 50.
50.
50
I'd like to have
Patriots
50 before the end of this year.
before the end of
Uh,
2025.
yeah,
50
yeah.
Patriots.
To be
You look
working with-
surprised.
And I've got big goals. You know, I've got big eyes when it comes to this, and she's kept me grounded.
Okay. Yeah.
You never know.
Simmer down.
Never know.
When that big donor comes in,
Exactly.
makes it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need both, right?
Just think of all the help we could, be able to provide for those people.
Sure. Yeah. So we need funding,
Mhm.
right? Donations of any kind are acceptable.
Yep.
If Johnny can fix it,
Cute.
Yeah,
we'll
it could be,
take
yeah.
we'll take it in.
Yep.
Patriots that need somewhere to go, they're welcome to join, right? And they would
Yep.
just inquire the same way with you, right?
Yeah, just reach out to me or
Mhm.
the website, and we'll put you on the waiting list. Right now, we have 2 on the waiting list. Hope to onboard them soon.
Mhm.
And then with the Patriots, we just hope for patience
Mhm.
and to kind of, they're being involved in the program is important that they actually complete the program or at least try to. And that's all we really ask. So along the way, I'm excited that we're going to be able to make a difference. It's going to be a little difficult to show that data, but I know that we can because we're already doing it.
Yeah, sure.
So, yeah.
I mean, the program that you have works. We know, like Denver
Yeah.
just ran her first marathon in 4 hours.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
Yeah.
the program works. And I guess the last piece of the puzzle is as it grows, the coaches. So
Yeah.
over time, you'll be looking for coaches as well.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Yep.
I think that's a big part of it as well. So, okay. Well, I appreciate you guys
Thank
for
you so
coming on.
much.
This is super
Yeah.
fun. I don't
Yeah.
know. I've never explored much in nonprofits, to be honest. You know, I don't really know much about it, but I learned some things today. So I appreciate the time,
Yeah,
and
thank you.
hopefully we can grow this thing and get some people the help that they need.
Thank you.
All right,
Appreciate
guys.
it.
Make sure you like, subscribe, check out the website. Say the website one more time, and then
phpatriots24.org.
okay, perfect. You heard that, and guys, like, subscribe, leave us a review. We would really appreciate that, and we'll see you next time.